Miss Lancaster, as you know, your son has been showcasing antisocial behavior. Now we have run the necessary tests and brain scans, and I finally have the results. It seems as if your son has a 75% chance of becoming a criminal. Don't become too nervous. There are different treatments we could use to lower his levels. Imagine being a parent and hearing those words from your doctor. His words start to become drowned out. The panic and uncertainty that run through your body is inevitable. You start to think, how could this happen? What if he actually turns into a criminal? This is going to tear this family apart. Being able to predict criminality makes a number of people feel uneasy. It comes along with negative stereotypes and the possibility of dubbing someone a bad seed for the rest of their lives. My name is Shauna Haynes, and I am a fifth-year Science, Technology, and Society student at New Jersey Institute of Technology. One of my research interests is forensic science. In this podcast for STS 304, I will use Adrian Raine and his concept of neurodevelopmental criminology to shed light onto how abnormalities in the brain and environment could fully shape a child's life. Adrian Raine is a British psychologist who specializes in the neurobiological and biosocial causes of antisocial and violent behavior in children and adults. His concept of neurodevelopmental criminology is somewhat simple. There is an association between the brain and criminal behavior. The brain is composed of 4 primary lobes: the frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, the temporal lobe, and the occipital lobe. While they all have different functions, we are going to be focusing on the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe provides a variety of functions which include motor functions, planning, reasoning, judgment, impulse control, and memory. Lesions to the frontal lobe will not cause you to have brain damage. However, it will influence a change in your behavior. The amygdala is an almond-shaped mass of nuclei that is located deep within the temporal lobe of the brain. This part of the brain is responsible for processing emotions such as happiness, fear, anger, and pleasure. An abnormality within the amygdala is detrimental to a person. Not being able to feel and convey these emotions are prime behaviors of a sociopath. In his article, Biosocial Studies of Antisocial and Violent Behavior in Children and Adults, a Review, which was published in Journal of Abnormal Child Psychology in 2002, Raine spoke on how criminal behavior is influenced by both genetics and environment. He states that these 2 key factors play into social and biological risk factors that both individually and interactively predispose to antisocial behavior. By looking at an experiment based on how crime is a cross-fostering analysis of petty criminality done by Cloninger in 1982, Raine found results that supported his findings. Male Swedish adoptees were divided into 4 groups depending on the presence or absence of a congenital predisposition, which is whether the biological parents were criminals, and a postnatal predisposition, which is how the children were raised by their adoptive parents. In the results, 40% of adoptees became criminals when both of the predispositional factors were present. When only the genetic factors were present, the percentage dropped down to 12.1%. In a bad family environment, the percentage still dropped to 6.7%, and when neither of the factors were present, it dropped again to 2.9%. These results proved to Cloninger and reassured Raine that criminality could be predicted from both genetics and the child's environment. Antonio Damasio, a researcher along with Raine, published an article in Cognition Journal in 1994. In his article, Insensitivity to Future Consequences Following Damage to Human Prefrontal Cortex, Damasio stated that prefrontal patients are oblivious to the future consequences of their actions and seem to be guided by immediate prospects only. Damasio realized that the abnormalities of the amygdala and prefrontal cortex prevent a person from knowing they are making a poor choice. He conducted an experiment that would measure the impulse to make sound decisions. His test subjects were given a $2,000 loan of play money and had to choose a card from 4 different piles. The goal of the experiment was to maximize profit. Taking a card from Deck A or Deck B yielded $100 each card, but also had a greater risk at an unpredicted punishment that would cost more money. Taking a card from Deck C or D yielded $50 each card, but had a lower risk of an unpredicted punishment that would cost less money. The results proved Damasio's theory. The control subjects did what any one of us would do. They remembered that Deck A and B gave them more money, but also carried more of a risk to lose it, thus choosing from Decks C and D more. The subjects with damage to their prefrontal cortex and amygdala kept choosing from Deck A and B simply because over the course of the experiment, they did not remember that these decks held such punishment. Adrian Raine and his fellow researchers have stumbled across something magical in the psychologist's realm. Being able to predict criminality in children has both risks and benefits. Some parents will want to provide the treatments available to their children to lower their chances of becoming a criminal. Other parents will want to believe that the psychologist is trying to label their child when that is not the case. It is up to the parents to determine what they feel to be in the best interest for their child. Something to think about is a quote by Raine himself. One swallow does not a summer make, but together this is a message in the sky. Thank you.